10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Karl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Karl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Karl way. Keen Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keen, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services in commercial construction to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keen can work for you at ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeen.com.
My game plan? Get the best without the fuss. That's why I love Fairway. Everything I need, easy to find, and a hometown atmosphere that just hits different. Fairway, your home court advantage.
Well, welcome to Cyclone Fanatic Postgame, presented by Karl Auto Group in the Northwest Bank Studios. I am Jake Brend, joined by Jackson Pence. Iowa State loses 77-68 in the first, I guess, their first game of the Big 12 tournament, the second round of the Big 12 tournament. Well, that sucked. I mean, it feels like deja vu all over again.
Well, it certainly wasn't fun to watch in the first half or the first quarter, let alone. So, I mean, you missed 13 of your first 14 shots. I mean, 8.5-minute scoring drought without a field goal. It's not the recipe for success.
I mean, they go almost 8 minutes without a bucket in the first quarter. They shoot 36% from the field. It was in the 20. I think it was at 23% at halftime. 19% from three. You shoot 36 threes, only make 7 of them. Not a great day from the free throw line either. You turn the ball over 14 times. This team just did absolutely nothing that it takes to win a game like this. And with that, you're going home against a team that you just beat by 20-plus points on your home court at a place that you typically do well. Like, you almost always do well in Kansas City. And for some reason, it's the same exact story that it's been year after year, where this team that had top 10 potential, had top 4 seed, hosting NCAA tournament game potential, now probably belongs in the first 4 out. Or not first 4 out, but the first
Last
4
4
games, the playing games. And that's just bad. The roster's too good, the players are too good for this to be the case.
Well, it's hard to find like what is the mix up here, because you look at the beginning of the year, they look like a 2 seed, a 2 or a 3 seed, and you lose Addie Brown, and you have that 5-game stretch where you don't play well, and then you snap out of it, and you get yourself back into the tournament picture, and then all of a sudden you just kind of lose who you are. And I mean, when you watch tonight's game, it really stands out to me is, teams they are just packing the paint, and they're forcing Iowa State to shoot a lot of 36 threes tonight for Iowa State. That's a lot. And for an Iowa State team that shoots a lot of threes anyways, that's just too many. They shot 19.4% from 3 tonight. That's just not going to cut it when you go 7 of 36 from 3.
Well, we're all here because of Karl Auto Group, Karl Chevrolet. They are sponsoring all of our pre- and post-game coverage throughout the postseason for the Cyclone men and women. When it's time for a new ride, don't just go anywhere. Go to the team that's been a part of our very community for decades. Karl Chevrolet in Ankeny isn't just a dealership. They're the #1 GM certified dealer in the nation. It's the best, and we're so glad that we have them on board. We're, of course, in the Northwest Bank studios throughout. We appreciate their support. I don't know where to start with this game. There wasn't really any one individual performance that stood out as great. I thought Addie Brown still doing a lot of the dirty work. Like, she's your leading rebounder, but she couldn't buy a shot, and she wasn't the only one who couldn't buy a shot. Kenzie Hare saw some go down. Those are some positives, but you're going to leave this game with no positives. This was a team that in the last 2 weeks was up double digits against TCU on their home court. You blow a lead at home against Oklahoma State. Come back and pick up a nice win, but you lose 3 of 4 going into the NCAA tournament. The silver lining, who knows? Maybe this bumps you off the 9 line to the 10 line, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You can't worry about if you're going to play a 1 or a 2 seed. This team should worry about if they can beat an 8 seed, a 9 seed, a 7 seed, because they play like they did tonight. They'll get beat by 20, and they'll be an early exit once again with, again, one of the most talented rosters in the history of the school. And it's going to be a disappointment unless they're able to rattle off 2 wins in the NCAA tournament and salvage a Sweet 16. But I don't see how that's going to happen. Not if they were playing defense at the level they were tonight.
Yeah, and it's not just one person. It's the whole team's just really not playing well. I mean, when you look at the box score, it's the 5 starters and then it's no one else. I mean, Reese Beatty is getting the Killian Torrey treatment to some extent. She's not really she's not even looking to shoot the 3 ball right now because she's a freshman and she's played really well for Iowa State this year as a true freshman, and she's only going to get better. But she's getting the Killian Torrey treatment right now where they're just not guarding her.
Yeah, and like offensively, I feel like this team shouldn't have problems offensively. That's what's disappointing to me. You look at this roster up and down, and I know Addie's not 100% healthy, and I'll give her a pass for that. She's playing through an injury. She's playing through a lot. But when you've got Audie Crooks, Addie Brown, and then the shooters in Ariana Jackson and Kenzie Hare and Sydney Harris, and what Jada Williams has been able to do the second half of the season, they shouldn't have any problems offensively. And still, it took a pretty decent fourth quarter shooting the ball to make your stat sheet even look close to respectable. And I still don't think it was respectable. But for me, this game all comes down to there was a point early in the third quarter. And this is where I think I'm most disappointed, because Iowa State, they cut the lead down to 6 right away. Audie Crooks gets a layup, first possession out of halftime. You're thinking, man, we played as bad as we possibly could have in that first half, and we're still within striking distance. Audie goes down, gets a bucket, and then they come out and they hit 4 threes in the first 4 minutes of the half, and I don't think any of them had a hand in their face. That's what was disappointing to me. Is it looked like there was zero intensity on the defensive end, and it showed because they got torched, and they got torched by a team that was playing harder than them and playing smarter than them, and that's disappointing for a veteran team.
And that's where you want to really chip into their lead that they had. And Iowa State made shots during that time. They just couldn't get a stop, and they really didn't act like they wanted to get a stop. They didn't have the hand up. They allowed a couple offensive rebounds that led to another 3. So they just have a lot to fix right now, and maybe the time off will be good for them. I don't know. They're going to have a little while until they're going to play again. So they just have a lot to fix, and I just don't know what the answer is right now, because you try to go inside to Audie, she's getting triple teamed, and then when she kicks it out, the shots just aren't falling right now.
Yeah, it all comes down to movement. If Audie's getting triple teamed, good. Use that to your team's advantage. If she's getting triple teamed, that means 2 people aren't being guarded. And other than when there's a couple bench players on the floor. If you've got Jada Williams, Addie Brown, Kenzie Hare, Ariana Jackson on the floor, they should all shoot. Like, they should all be able to shoot the ball. And if they're crashing that hard at Audie, set back screens, set off ball screens, get your shooters some looks and use that to the advantage, not try and force feed it into Audie, turn it over. And if you do get it into Audie, she's having a really tough time getting shots off because she's surrounded by three. This feels like a very simple equation to me. Where, like, we look over at the men's team, and some of the problems are just like, yeah, they are sagging off people that can't shoot. That doesn't seem to be the problem for the women's team. These women can shoot, so take advantage of that and try and get them shots, and it's perplexing.
It's also one of those deals where if Audie's getting triple team, make a back cut and you're going to be wide open for a layup too. It feels like there's too many times where we see people just standing in the corner waiting for a skip pass. If you make a back cut, you're going to get a wide open layup, especially if there's a double team or if you get a cut right down the middle of the lane, it's going to be wide open for a layup, and that just feels like something where it's like you get Addie Brown in and she just cuts right to the lane and Audie can hand it right to her and she'll lay it in every time.
It's frustrating, Pence. Something that's not frustrating is a trip to Fairway. I usually leave Fairway with a smile on my face. And
skinless brats, man.
Maybe first thing tomorrow I'm going to go buy some burgers, and instead of watching the Big 12 quarterfinals tomorrow night, which I thought would involve the Iowa State Cyclones, maybe I'll just grill out and drown my sorrows with some delicious meat from Fairway Meat and Grocery. Fairway is a great supporter of Cyclone Fanatic, and they're asking all fanatics to support your local Fairway throughout this March. Central States Roofing is another great local company. When your commercial building takes a hit, do not settle for a sub. Call the professional leak-chasing experts at Central States Roofing. Man, we could call them to fix the Cyclones defense right now. A lot of leaks in that defense, and you can trust Central States Roofing when you've got problems with your roof, whether it's just a leak or whether you need a total new roof. Get your free estimate today at csroofing.com. Well, now, like you said, Pence, they've got time off. They're going to have a week and a half until Selection Sunday, essentially, a little less than that. It'll be 2 weeks until they play a game again, unless they're in that first 4 game. That's a lot of time to find out, does this team roll over and die, or do they take that time off? Do they take that loss personally? Do they take what we say, what we're saying here on Cyclone Fanatic, and what fans I'm seeing in the comments are saying, and I completely understand the frustration. Do they take that and put that in the locker room and say, we're going to go do this for us, and we're going to go prove everyone wrong? Or are you going to let these circumstances define you? And that's a question that I don't have the answer to. That's a question for Bill Fenley and his staff. And it's a question for the leadership on this team, that they have to go out and be tougher and play like they have nothing to lose.
And Aiden and I were talking about this before we went live here. Is this team, they know how to play together. We've seen them play really well at times this year, and even going back a couple years ago when they went out to Stanford and nearly beat that Stanford team that was close to a Final Four that year. Like they know how to play, and it's just not meshing right now. In the last couple of years, especially, it's just they have moments where they look really good and they look like a team that can host an NCAA tournament. But then there's times where it's just like they just. Everything gets so stagnant, and it's just like, let's throw the ball into Audie Crooks and see what she can do. But when you have teams like, I saw somebody comment earlier, Molly Miller is a good coach. There's a reason why she went from Grand Canyon to Arizona State in the Big 12. Like, she made adjustments from that game in Ames a couple weeks ago, and right now Iowa State's just in a little bit of a slump, and they're just going to have to figure it out. And maybe the time is good. Maybe they just get some rest, because I know they played a lot of minutes tonight. The starters played a lot of minutes, and it'll be good too, especially when you get to March and your best players need to be on the court.
No, you're completely right. It very well could be a good thing to do that. And this comes down to the coaching staff making adjustments, because something's clearly not working. And I think a big change that you could do for the defense is by making tweaks to the offense. It's really hard to keep players completely engaged when they're not touching the ball. It might not even be a conscious decision by the players, but if you're standing in the corner the entire time on offense and you don't get to touch the ball, it's going to be a lot harder for you to dive on the floor on the other end. It's going to be really hard for you to be intense for 40 straight minutes defensively. And I think that's what a lot of these problems can be resolved to. It's a lot of iso ball, especially in clutch situations. It's a lot of very, very predictable game plans. And that's a problem because if you know what's coming, I don't care how unguardable Audie Crooks can be at points. These other teams play basketball too. And these other teams have strong players as well. And they can stop that. And if you don't have answers, if you don't have safety valves off of that, you're not going to be able to win these games. And what I'm seeing right now is an offense that is too predictable, and I think that's affecting the defense on the other end.
And I don't think like zone's the answer either. I mean, we saw them do that tonight, and it just gave them a bunch of wide open threes. So they're just going to have to find something, whether it's, I don't know if they do some kind of box and one on their best player. I don't know. It's just when you have people on the floor that sometimes just aren't the best defenders, it's hard to hide them on the court.
Yeah, it's a hard conversation to have, and I know these players care.
Oh yeah, 100%. They want to win.
Yeah. This is a thing where it feels like once they get desperate, they go to what's safe, and when the other team knows what's safe, it's pretty easy to guard. And that's the problem. This to me doesn't seem like a team that hates each other, that wants to go home. I just think they got out-coached, out-prepared the other night. Like, they beat this team. They throttled this team at Hilton Coliseum. The other team made adjustments. You knew that was going to come. You knew they were going to make adjustments. And Iowa State didn't have those adjustments tonight. They didn't. And that's on the coaching staff, and that's the unfortunate thing. And Bill Fenley knows that. He's the head coach. He's been doing this a long time, and he knows that falls on him. And I'm sure as he's at the postgame press conference right now, that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, he's one of the top 20 greatest coaches in women's basketball history. Like, the guy has won a lot of games at Iowa State, and it just happened tonight. It didn't go well for him, and sometimes that just happens. And you hope you get together when you get back to Ames and try and figure this thing out, because this Iowa State team, would it shock you, Jake, to see them rattle off 2 or 3 in a row here to get to a Sweet 16?
No. I mean,
they have
Audie Crooks went 17 of 19 and scored 41 points the other day.
Exactly. She is a tough matchup for any team in the country. But when you don't have other options that you can feed off of sometimes, or you can't get a defensive rebound, or you can't get a stop on the defensive end, sometimes it just doesn't matter how many points Audie scores, or how many Addie scores, or Ariana Jackson. They just have to figure something out where they can just be good at all aspects of the game right now.
Wiffles hybrid, Plant Independence, Plant Wiffles. Arizona State will go on to take West Virginia tomorrow night at the Big 12 tournament. And then tonight, Kansas will get underway here in just a few seconds with Colorado. I think I'd put my money on Colorado in that situation. The winner of that game will take on Baylor. So K-State, Oklahoma State tomorrow at 11 a.m., BYU, TCU at 1:30, West Virginia and Arizona State. Following that, I believe that game's at 5:30, and then the winner of Kansas and Colorado will take on Baylor. We'd also like to thank Keen Project Solutions. If you're a Cyclone fan and you're looking for a career that challenges and inspires you, Keen Project Solutions would be a great place. They're growing and hiring engineers and project managers for their Kansas City and Ankeny offices. Join a team that values your dedication, fuels your career growth, and turns your expertise into impactful solutions. Visit KeenProjectSolutions.com today to apply. Keen Project Solutions. We develop people to grow in a career that is more than just a job. Well, Pence, I don't have many more thoughts on this other than you kind of just hope you fall to a 10 seed, because I think in most cases, playing a 1 seed's a total death sentence, and that's where it would shock me if this team was able to knock off a 1 seed.
Yep.
I think it would shock me, too, if this team was able to knock off a 2 seed, but I do know that it's in there, and we'll see if they can find those answers amongst themselves in their practice, and they go back and watch what just happened to them at the T-Mobile Center.
Yeah, do you want to know a little nugget for the Big 12 tournament so far? Every team that got a bye so far in the first round lost today. Texas Tech lost, Utah lost, and Iowa State's now lost. So it's not just Iowa State that's not playing. All these first-round bye teams have all lost so far. So if Kansas can beat Colorado coming up here at 8 o'clock, it'll be a clean sweep for the Wednesday first-day teams onto the second round, onto the third round, the
that's
quarterfinals.
Crazy. Yeah, I'll be interested to see the numbers over time as there becomes more double buys in these tournaments. The math on how much of an advantage is it to have 2 days off while the other team plays 2 games. Like, I still think that team's at a massive advantage, but there is something to be said about, once you're in it and once you're getting hit, once you're playing, that the team that has been playing 2 games and has won 2 games in a row has that momentum. Obviously, that's no excuse for Iowa State tonight. They should have beat Arizona State. They shouldn't have had a problem beating Arizona State, and they got flat out executed and outplayed.
Yep, nothing else I can say about that.
Well, a short trip to Kansas City for the Cyclones. We'll continue to cover them up until their NCAA tournament run, where
They're going to be in the
Selection
tournament
Sunday. Yeah, they'll be in the tournament, but it'll be quiet on the women's front until then. I mean, we'll of course post Bill Fenley's post-game press conference to YouTube, but I can't imagine we'll hear from that team a ton until Selection Sunday. Of course, we'll have all of our coverage for the Iowa State men against Arizona State on Saturday, and all Cyclone coverage going forward, courtesy of Karl Auto Group, Central States Roofing, Keene Project Solutions, Fairway Meat and Grocery, Wiffle Hybrid. We appreciate all of our great sponsors for bringing us the post-game show here in the Northwest Bank Studios.